This is Gemara in Kiddushin Daf Gimel, and we pick it up on Beis Amid Beis, 4 lines from the bottom. We're in the middle of discussing the word derech, begimel derachim, and the Gemara just explained that the reason why I use the word derech is because derech relates to Kiddushin with regard to the way of marriage. But now says the Gemara, 1 second. That which we learned in the Mishnah. Mishnah we quoted yesterday that there are 7 ways a zav is checked. Listening, dvarim. Why does it say derachim? Let it say dvarim. Says the Gemara, that the word derech there is used for a different reason, to teach you that it's the derech, that it's the way, that ziva is brought about. It's a disease that is brought about by excessive eating, brings one to ziva, and that's why the word derech is used. Says the Gemara, v'darka the Mishnah Yisir, and as well as excessive drink, la'asu yidei ziva. Ask the Gemara 2 lines to the bottom, tonight that we should learn to the Mishnah. Esrog shavali ilan. And esrog is comparable to a tree, begimel derachim, in 3 ways. Listening dvarim, let it say dvarim. Explains the Gemara, you know why it says derech over there? Mishun be inan masni seifo, because the end of that Mishnah wants to say the yarek b'derech echad, and it wants to say that it's like a yarek in 1 way, a vegetable in 1 way. Therefore, it says it's like a tree in 3 ways. Says the Gemara. So what does it say it's like a yarek in 1 way? So say it's like a yarek in 1 davar in 1 way. Why does it have to say the word derech? And with that, we turn over to Gimel Amid Aleph and explains the Gemara. Hasam Akam Ashlan. Over there, what are we learning? The dark of the esrog ki yarek. That the way of the esrog, the way of the growth of the esrog, the derech, is like a vegetable. And that's why the meiser is like a vegetable. Ma yarek darka ligadal kol mayim. Vegetables grow on all water, that it needs both irrigational water and rainwater. Ubishas likitasa isurai. And the meiser goes by the time of the picking. Af esrog darka ligadal kol mayim. And as it grows in all water, and that's the reason why it uses the word derech in that Mishnah. So continues the Gemara, 4 lines from the top of Gimel Amid Aleph, discussing other examples of the word derech. That which learned in the Mishnah, kai, which is a type of animal. What is a kai? Kai is a mixed breed animal. There's some ways it's like a chaya, domesticated animal. In some ways it's like some ways like a chaya, like a wild animal. Some ways like a behemoth, like a domesticated animal. There's some ways that's like both. In some way that this kai is a breed unto itself. So in that Mishnah, why is the word derech used? Ask the Gemara. Nisni dvarim. Rather, choose the word davar. V'su, and furthermore, that which learned in the Mishnah, zu achas min haderachim. This is one of the ways sheshavu giti nash l'shchui avadim, that again isha is like ishtar shecher. Why does it say the word derech nisni dvarim? Over there as well, it's used the word davar. So says the Gemara, after all these kashas, finally we see that the word derech is not only way to show the way of things. Therefore, we're back to our original question. So finally, the Gemara concludes, whenever there is a machloikes, tani dvarim. Therefore, the word, tani derachim. Whenever there's not a machloikes, tani dvarim. Dekanami, we have a right to this tani seifa. The end of the Mishnah says, Rav Elazar Aimer esik shavali ilan l'chol davar. It's like an ilan in all manner shmamina. And over here, there's no difference, there's no plukta. Therefore, the word davar is used. And that concludes really the discussion from yesterday, why the Mishnah used the word Aisha niknes begimel derachim. Now we continue 10 lines to the bottom of the 2 dots. Now we go into the numbers of the Mishnah. classical Gemara sense, asks the Gemara, Minyana de Reishal Mute Mai, Limana de Seifa, Limute Mai. When the Reisha says that Aisha Niknes V'Gimel Derachim, that she is acquired in 3 ways, when the Seifa says that she's Koines Atzma, B'Shtei Derachim, in 2 ways, Limute Mai, what are each of these numbers? Obviously, if the Mishnah wrote a number, there's a reason for it. So what's the reason? Says the Gemara, none of the Reisha, Lemute Chopa, comes to exclude Chopa, that Chopa is not a form of Kiddushin. Says the Gemara, 1 second. Well, Rav Amnun, Adam Chopa Kaineh. According to Rav Huna, it says the Chopa is indeed a form of Kiddushin. Mikal V'chaimer, as Rav Huna learns this from a Kal V'chaimer. Lemute Mai, what does he say that the number 3 is coming to exclude? Lemute Chalipin, that a woman cannot get married via an act of chalipin, of exchange. I would have thought, as we learned yesterday, what's the original source from Kicha, from Kiddushin, is learned out from the purchase of Avram Avinu from Ephraim. Masnei Ephraim, just like the field of Ephraim, Mikanya bechalipin. Just like a sadeh, masad is mekani bechalipin. So the havamina would have been 3 lines to the bottom. Avisha nami, a woman as well as mekani bechalipin. Kamash Malad. On this says the Gemara that no, Aisha niknes begimel derachim. According to Rav Huna, comes to exclude and not chalipin. Veima hachanami chalipin. Veima hachanami says more. Wait. Maybe your kasha was true. Maybe just like a field is acquired with chalipin, maybe indeed a woman could be acquired with chalipin. Says the Gemara, chalipin, when it comes to chalipin, it's nayu bebacha is mishava pruta. Chalipin by its very nature works. Even when it's less than a shava pruta, chalipin, you pick up a handkerchief and you make an acquisition, it's nothing to do with the value. However, a woman would never be koineh with less than a shava pruta. Therefore, concludes the Gemara, according to Rav Huna, that's why Isha niknes begimel derachim and not with chalipin. And we continue as we turn over to Gimel Amid Beis as the Gemara goes into the next kasha. Minyana de seifa lemute. What is the number the seifa coming to exclude? Says Gemara lemute chalitza, that you cannot get divorced, a regular marriage, via chalitza. I would have thought it started from Yavama. That was my Yavama Shina Yaitse Beget. A Yavama cannot be severed. The connection cannot be divorced via get. And yet Yaitse Bechalitza. Zu, this woman she Yaitse Beget. Einoi din. She Yaitse Bechalitza. Is it not certain that she could be divorced via Chalitza? Kamash Malan, that Isha Koines Atz Gimel Derachim and not Chalitza. Says the Gemara, the same kasha, maybe indeed it works. Amar Kra answers the Gemara, Sefer Krisos. And here we learn out, Sefer Karsav, Ein Daracher Karsav. It's only via Sefer, and Chalitza will not work. We continue, 7 lines down, Bekesef. Says the Gemara that one way a woman is married is with money. Ask the Gemara, Binali, where do we know this? And furthermore, it's not that which learned to the Mishnah. A father meriting his daughter Bikdusheha in her Kiddushin Bekesef Vishtar Ubebiya. That the father has the right to his daughter Kiddushin with regard to Kesef Shtar and Bia. Minala, and from where do we know the Mekanya Bekesef? Where do we know that she's acquired with money? Because of the avu. And secondly, how do we know the money goes to her father? So a double question over here. Number 1, what's the source in general that Kiddushin is affected with kesef? And number 2, what's the source that will go to the father in the event that he's marrying off his daughter who's a ketana? Amar Rav Yudah Amar Rav Amar Kra. We learn out from a pasuk. V'yatza chinam ein kasef. She goes free and there is no money. From here we darshan in kasef ladan zeh. Then in such a scenario, by a maidservant, by a shivcha, there's no money. Aval yesh kesef, but there is money. Ladan acher by niu av. It's referred to the father when he marries off his daughter. Ask the Gemara of Emeladita. 1 second. Maybe the money should go straight to her. Explains the Gemara, Hachiyashta, it can't be. Avi Amekabel Kedusha. The father accepts her Kedusha. The pasuk says as beat. He knows how to the father's how to give over his daughter who's a ketana. Vi Shakla Kasba, and you think she's going to take the money? Says the Gemara, yeah, maybe Yavi Machanami. Explains the Gemara, Ketana D'Lasla Yad Lekabel Kiddushin. Talking about a case of a Ketana that doesn't have a hand to accept Kiddushin. Aval Naira, when it comes to a Naira, display Yad Lekabel Kiddushin, take this Iyun Nafsha, she's able to marry herself off, a Tishkol Kasba, and she should get the money. So says the Gemara, how do you know that even in the case of a Naira, the father would indeed get the kesef of Kiddushin? Amar Kra explains the Gemara. We learn that from a different pasuk. Says the Gemara, Benurel Beisavia. For this is where we learn that if a girl is a Naira, teenager of 12 and 12 and a half, the money of Kiddushin still goes to the father. Says in the pasuk, Benurel Beisavia. From here we darshin Kol Shevach Nerum Navia. All the benefit of the Neurim of the Nairis goes to the father. Ask the Gemara, how do we know that the actions of the daughter go to the father? Shneimar says the Torah of Chayim Garishes Bita Lama Ma'om Maisiyadel Rabba Maidservant. That what she makes goes to the master. So from here we should learn out Abbas Nami Maisiyadel via the daughter as well. Says the Gemara, nice kasha, but table bin Rabbi Savia. What do you do with the fact that Pasuk says bin Rabbi Savia that she's in her father's household? Elo ba'faris the darim udich sev. That Pasuk for faris the darim. Hachanami says the Gemara, ba'faris the darim hu diksev. Chitema. And if you're going to suggest neil of minei, one that from ba'faris the darim, mimanei surah. Lo yalfinan. V'chidim neil miknasa, and miknas lo yalfinan. V'chidim yom yibash the began, shani bash the began davo shaykh begava, el mistavra. But rather, what must we learn out from v'chi kamemayit? That why does a father have the rights of that which we learn? V'chi kamemayit, that when the pasuk excludes by Yotza Chinim in Kasev Yitzia de Kavasa Kamamayit, similarly will be excluded. That's when the maidservant leaves the master. That's when Ein Kasef, there is no money. However, from here we learn out by regular Naira, when she leaves her father's house, why? For a good reason, she's getting married, then indeed there is Kasef that goes to the father. We'll pick it up from the top of Dalam and Aleph for the next year. B'siyata Dishmayo.